Hey guys, welcome to our Chick Flick.
Look at all those chickens!
Today we'll be observing the anatomy of the modern chicken.
Kylie Jenner to the foyer. I have a little surprise for you. Is that a chicken?
Observe the picture to the right. We got the beak, we got the comb and the wattle, which are ornamental and used to attract mates. Their colors and size depend greatly on sex hormones. We got the ear and the earlobe. The earlobe tells us what color egg the hen will produce. Now we have the oral cavity, which holds no teeth. Chickens do not chew their food. The tongue is triangular and has very few taste buds. Feathers are arranged in tracts and composed of keratin. Their main function is to aid in protection. The uropygial, or preen gland, is a sebaceous gland located at the base of the tail. It secretes oil throughout the feathers. Think preen to keep your chicken clean. Underneath the wing, in the depression between the biceps brachialis and triceps humerus muscles, there is a brachial vein. This is used in blood collection.
The biceps brachii runs ventral to the humerus and acts as a flexor to the wing. The triceps brachii extends the forearm of the chicken and flexes the shoulder. The iliotibialis, also known as the gluteus maximus, is a sheet-like muscle that covers most of the thigh. Gluteus maximus flexes the hip and extends the knee and lower leg. The sartorius muscle can be found at the anterior border of the thigh, and it is seen in a long, thin band. This muscle flexes the hip and extends the knee. The role of the semitendinosus is to extend the thigh. The gastrocnemius flexes the knee while also extending the foot. The role of the tibialis anterior muscle is to flex the tarso-metatarsal forward. The adductor longus, hence the name, adducts and extends the thigh. The function of the quadriceps femoris is to extend the thigh. The ambiens originates on the ilium and pubis and inserts on the proximal tibiotarsus. The semimembranosus extends the thigh and also flexes the knee. The supracoracoideus, or pectoralis minor, lies beneath the pectoralis major and causes the elevation of the wing in the upstroke. The superficial pectoral, also known as the pectoralis major, is the largest muscle found in the bird. It is responsible for the downward movement and force necessary to move the wing.
The digestive tract. We got the mouth, we got the beak. Then the food's going to move down this muscular tube called the esophagus. It's going to empty in this temporary storage unit called the croup. Then it's going to enter into the proventriculus, where digestive secretions take place. From there, we're going to move to the gizzard, which grinds and mixes the food until it's able to reach the small intestines. Note that the pancreas is encompassed by the duodenal loop. Now, let's look at the four-lobed liver, which secretes bile. Bile, which is stored in the gallbladder. Then we got the large intestines, which reabsorb the water. And lastly, the cloaca, which ingests waste through the vent.
The urogenital system is responsible for removing nitrogenous and metabolic waste while maintaining osmotic equilibrium. Unlike mammals that excrete urea, birds excrete insoluble urates that require very little water to excrete. Most species of birds do not have a bladder.
The kidney is a three-lobed structure located in the dorsal cavity of the abdomen. Next, we have the respiratory system. Air passes through the oral cavity, which then passes through this ring tube called the trachea. Remember, the trachea begins with the opening of the glottis and ends with the syrinx, which is the voice box. At the point of the syrinx, the tube splits into the bronchi, which then goes into the lungs. But remember, the lungs do not expand. That is the job of the air sacs. There's 9 of them, and they allow a continuous stream of air to pass through the tissue in one direction. Remember them as little balloons in the end of the airway system.
Avian species have a 4-chambered heart that is enclosed in pericardial sac, and the aortic arch reflects to the right. The 4 chambers are the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle.
So here we got the female repro tract. Remember, only the left side is going to develop. The egg is going to travel from the ovary into the infundibulum, which is in charge of sperm storage, into the thick magnum, which secretes protective proteins, into the isthmus, which forms the egg membrane, into the uterus, which forms the shell and the pigmentation of the egg, through the vagina, through the cloaca, and out the vent.
Pictured with the ovaries, you can differentiate between the large and small yellow follicles, the white follicles, and the stigma. The chicken we had a soft-shelled egg in the oviduct for about 3 to 4 hours since ovulation.
Male repro, we got our testes, which produce sperm, we got the vas deferens, which carries sperm, and we got the cloaca in the vent. Note that the sperm after mating is stored in the folds of the oviduct by the hen. This concludes our discussion on chicken anatomy. However, we took it upon ourselves to educate the public on some unknown chicken facts.
Hey Jim, did you know that there are more chickens in the world than people?
Hey Jim, did you know that the chicken is the closest living relative to the dino?